Welcome to the Sunday NFL kickoff show here on odds.com, Odds HQ, alongside with my man Rob Bebeneck. Week 3, baby. How you doing today, Rob?
Jimmy, I'm feeling good, buddy. I'm feeling good about week 3. This is the most fucked up week in all of NFL season, so let's do it. Let's see some upsets. Let's see some games that we're sure things that are going to be an absolute mess. I want it.
Well, you've started out the year 8-2 plus 5.64 units ROI plus 56.40% average line minus 112, and you have 6 bets in action going off. Actually, 5 today, 1 on Monday. We beat that Chiefs-Ravens market move to the over, but we'll get into that later. So let's review what Bebeneck is on, what I am on, and also give a big shout-out to all the cappers joining us on this glorious Sunday of NFL football. We got Nilo in the house, Buzz Nuts, Robert Cherry making moves, NFL Dog of the Day, Raiders plus 6.5 from him. We got Alexei Popovich, Adam Lastman ready to go, Jason Lowry teasing the Browns and the Pats. We got TJ Parks, Swiatek not high on the Steelers this year. Swiatek from Ohio knows these teams very, very well. Captain Marvel in the house, Gregory Wilson, M. Strohs, Tommy Boltes. I love the Bengals today. Am I crazy? Well, I told you guys on Tuesday that I was going to wait till I got the -3 first half on the Eagles. I waited. That became available on Friday, and I bet it. But a lot of people have been mocking me for that very bet. That being Prince of the City, OG Lowbagger, Tony Bruscher, Cash Action, Canascat, Johnny K, Mike Turner, Intex, at Young Chillionaire. It is time to get to work. Craig Brown ready to go. AB, Ron Lofton, Max betting the Cardinals. We're going to talk a lot about that. Not applicable. Nick Dillard, Ron Crawford in action. Houston plus 4 for Ron Crawford, going heads up with Bebeneck on that look. All righty, let's start breaking things down. Let's begin by reviewing everybody's action here. And Bebeneck, you are on the Titans -1.5. You got that at -121 on Bet Rivers Tuesday evening. All these bets were placed Tuesday evening. Steelers -3.5 at -118. New York Jets, Indianapolis Colts under 44. I got a 43.5 at Bet 365 for that bet. You're on the Cardinals -5.5. Packers plus 3.5. We're going to go down every single game, but just to get this show popping off, Bebeneck, is there one of those bets that you feel even more confident on and one of those bets that you feel more vulnerable with?
It's funny you mentioned that, Jimmy. Yes, there is one I kind of wish I could take back. Too late for that now, and that's the Arizona game. Just the more and more I looked at it, kind of felt like a trap bet. Arizona's been rolling. Detroit's been not rolling, but I don't know. For whatever reason, that bet scares me. The one I got more comfortable about is the Monday night over. Man, I just think that if this was 65, I'd still be thinking over. I think this is going to be a massive shootout. You know, Roger Goodell loves his high-scoring games on Monday Night Football, so he's going to be putting his phone calls into the officiating crew beforehand, be like, hey, we're going to throw a lot of PI, we're going to extend some drives. I want 1,000,000 points in this game. That, I think, is still the easiest play of the week, but that Arizona game scared me. It is. I don't know. I don't know if I like Arizona as much as I did on Tuesday, but it's locked in, so what can I do?
Well, you could take the other side and just lose the juice, but I hear what you were saying. I would stick with it myself. Going up against Swiatek, he's on the Lions. Okay, I have not started out the season as gloriously as Bebeneck. I've had 2 player props that have hurt me as well. So would be 7-6 in spreads and totals. I'm 7-8, 46.7% down, 1.85 units. ROI -12.33, and I'm fresh off the stomping I took on the Jaguars -3 at +100. I have the Titans as well, but I got them at -2.5, -110. I'm on that Jets Colts under 43.5 and the Chiefs Ravens over 53.5. Those were made Tuesday. On Friday, I added in the Raiders Patriots under 47.5, Niners Giants over 41.5, and Eagles first half -3. So that's my action. We got Jay Kaiser ready to go. Gerald Jones says on Cleveland, heavy first half. Washington being horrible in first halves. Well, let's start breaking down the 1 p.m. games right now. We are going to look at what market movements have happened. We are able to make any additions that we choose. And let's get after it right now.
Jimmy, if you don't mind, I don't want to derail the show
Sure.
but I just got to say, I mean, you always got lovely hats. That's a lovely hat you got on there. That's a real sharp hat. I feel like we need to know that. Guys, is that not a sharp hat? Whether you like the Niners or not, look at that hat. That's a great hat. Anyways, back to you, Jimmy.
Thank you. This was a gift from OG Lowbagger Nutflush Allen. Gave this to me in Miami for the Lowbag Summer Champions. It was a nice gift from the Allen family. All right, let's get to work right now, Bebsy. We're going to start with Bears, Falcons. Falcons, I say Falcons? Falcons.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Here in Canada, we say Falcons, but I've been told I'll get shit if I don't say Falcons. So fine, it's Falcons, whatever.
You will. Yeah. It's Falcons. Falcons. Okay, so this was a very interesting spot. I came very close to pulling the trigger on the Bears +4. I know that Birdie in the chat is on the Bears. Not only the Bears, I think he got him at 3.5, but he's also on the Bears money line. Then we find out that A.J. Terrell and Jalen Hawkins are out because of COVID. This is a terrible Falcons defense, and now they're missing Terrell and Hawkins. Let's see what the market has done to this game here. Now 2.5s on the board. Falcons now 2.5. This total from 47.5 to 47. I wonder if that total is now vulnerable to the over. Let's talk about this quickly. We're going to talk about each team. First off, Caleb McGarry of the Falcons right tackle was expected to miss only 1 week, but he's not on the injury report, and he practiced on Friday. So that would be good for them because Danny Quinn is on the hot seat after what happened last night. Last week, 39-24 lead with 5 minutes to go. Blow a 20-point lead in the game. Didn't understand the onside kick rules. They were up 29-10 at the half. Quinn also went for 2, up 26-7. They lose by 1 point. They don't get that 2-point conversion. Matty Ice looked good again, 273 for 4 touchdowns. The issue is Julio Jones, clearly bothered by a hamstring injury. Looked like it got worse during the Cowboys game. Ridley was a monster, and Atlanta ranks last in the league in red zone defense. 9 of 10 drives inside the 20 have turned into touchdowns. Then we go to the Bears. First shot at 3-0 since 2013. They rally from 17 points down in week 1 to the Lions. Then they nearly blow a 17-point lead to the Giants. So Lions, they beat up Giants. They nearly lose it. Trubisky has looked good at times. That fourth quarter comeback, he looked good. Completion rate of 59.4% is 28th in the league, 25th in yards, 17th in rating. Robert Quinn missed the opener. He looked much better. The defense, the front seven looked much better when he was back and took some pressure off of Khalil Mack. Bebsy, my first thought is with these two defensive backs out with COVID, is this a spot where we can get over the total?
Well, you said it already. The Falcons' defense was struggling to begin with. So are they going to be that much of a factor? Are the backups the same as them, or the backups, obviously they're slightly worse, but how much worse can they get? They've been terrible in the defensive backfield. So I don't know. I'm still in the don't trust what's going on with either. I think the Bears are a 2-0 team. I don't think the Falcons are an 0-2 team. Dan Quinn, yeah, he's on the hot seat, but he's not just on the hot seat for what happened last week. He's on the hot seat for what happened the week before and what happened last year. Look, we know the Falcons can put up points, and the Bears might be able to with a weakened and already bad Falcons defense, but I don't know. This is a game I just if you put a gun to my head, I'd say, yeah, take the over, but it's not some action that I really love. It's not something I really want to take, but I can see why you're leaning that way.
Well, I wasn't until this COVID, right, to take this terrible Falcons defense, make them even worse.
Yeah. Again, though, I have to ask, how much of a step down are these guys going to be? Like, you're not losing Jalen Ramsey or Patrick Peterson or Tre'Davious White over here. Like you're losing two bad corners.
Interesting. So I came close to taking the Bears at +4. At this point, I wish I had of. But would it surprise you if the Bears still struggle to move the ball and the Falcons can move the ball easily?
No, that won't surprise me. As long as Mitchell Trubisky is the Bears quarterback, I will not be surprised if they can't move the ball. Look, if everyone's red flag didn't go up about Mitchell Trubisky when right before the NFL draft, he decided to make a statement that he would prefer to be called Mitchell when people were calling him Mitch. If that's your priorities, you're not football. You're going to be shitty at football. I'm sorry. Let him call you Mitch. Let him call you Mitchell. Who gives a shit? Just go play ball. But the fact that he was concerned about that should have been a red flag. He should have gone in the 7th round. He's trash. I cannot get behind that offense at all. I feel sorry for that defense. So, yeah, just not into it.
Jeff Joseph agreeing with Dennis Garcia on the under. Priest is talking about Atlanta giving up 38 and 40 points in the first 2 games. I mean, we got a lot of games to go over. I don't want to sit in the hum and haw, but something is telling me that. So we even against the Falcons, we expect the Bears to struggle offensively.
Yeah, they're just not good. And look, neither of the Falcons. I don't know. Maybe if they're smart, they try and drag out the offense and keep their defense off the field as long as possible. But I mean, how can you put any faith into Mitchell Trubisky? They win week 1 and their best receiver wants out of town. Like, that only happens when you absolutely hate your system, your quarterback, your coach. Like that, or if you're just upset about a contract, which could be all of the above. But I have zero faith in the Bears. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care if they're playing a CFL defense. I do not like that Bears offense. I like their receivers, but that's just about it. Somebody's got to throw them the ball. And right now that's Mitchell.
Let's just see what this total has done quickly. I know we need to move on. We have so many games to talk about, but this total got up to 48.5. Wow, got up to 48.5 4 days ago. And the COVID-related issues to the Falcons defense has done nothing. There's been a 1-cent move. I guess, actually, I take that back. I guess there's been a 5-cent move to the under.
Anthony L. has some spot-on analysis that I don't think we should ignore. Trubisky is bad at being a QB. That's his analysis. Hey, when he's right, he's right.
He's right. He is right. All right, quick look from Swiatek. Let's move on. I still have some interest. I know everyone's telling me not to, but I still have some interest in this over 47 right now. My man Swiatek says, my main point for this week is that the books got pounded last week. It's also week 3. Now the public thinks they have each team figured out after only 2 games. Fade the public plays this week, says Eric Swiatek. Sean Dozier says Mitch is trash. All righty.
We got some spot on analysis in the comments section right now.
Mitch is trash. All right, let's move on to Rams, Bills. Man, what an interesting game and a tough spot for these Rams. Bills open up at -3. Now they're all the way down to -1. At what point, look, my palms just started sweating. At what point do the Bills have value now? And in all honesty, I feel the same way about the 49ers game. At what point, if the money keeps coming in on the Giants, to the 49ers, even as beaten up as they are, have value? We'll get to that. Let's get to this Bills game right now. The most important part is the Eagles didn't stay on out east. I mean, the Niners stayed in Virginia. I know it's a different game, but the Eagles did not stay out east. The Rams' offenses look very good, 400 yards in each of their first 2 games. This is going to be a much, much more difficult assignment in Buffalo. Rams gained 449 total yards, 191 on the ground against the Eagles. Akers is out for week 3. Malcolm Brown in. Left guard Joe Noboom is on the injured reserve. Allen, 729 yards, 7 TDs, 0 picks. Bills ranked first in yards passing, third in yards gained, tied for 6 in points with 58. Put up 524 total yards against the Dolphins. Diggs catches 8 balls for 153 yards, and they're all the linebackers are in. Tremont Edmonds playing, Matt Milano playing. So their backup, Delshon Phillips, is out, but these two guys are in. Rams, Bills, Bebsy. At what point do the Bills look like an appealing bet at -1? This total is also sitting at 46.5 for 47.
I mean, to be honest with you, the fact that it's gone down to -1 and the return of Tremaine Edmonds, I think, is huge. My apprehension towards that game was figuring he might not play. If he's in and he's obviously not at 100%, but if he's close to 100%, I like the Bills. I like the Bills just because of that enormous amount of travel from the Rams this week. And just, I do believe top to bottom, the Bills are a better football team. I was on them preseason. I'm on them now. I like them here. I really do. As long as those linebackers can stay healthy, they are the better football team.
Well, is it time to pull the trigger? Let's just take a look. My man Pete's saying that the weather is windy. It is 20 miles per hour right now is the wind. It does go down a bit. It dips to 16 by 2 o'clock, 12 by 5 o'clock. So it's going to get a little better. It is a beautiful day in Buffalo, 77 Fahrenheit and sunny. Is it time to pull the trigger?
It could be, to be honest with you, with a healthy linebacking core, that Bills defense is one of the best in the business. And, the Rams, look, they've been playing better offensively. They've gotten over our entire offense relies around Todd Gurley, partly because they had to. But Goff is playing better than I expected from him. Robert Woods has been great. Tyler Higbee, again, he was my fantasy sleeper preseason, and so far he's paying off. He looks great. I just love this Bills defense. And the Bills at home against a team that's gone back and forth across the country twice in 1 week. That's tough. That's tough on anyone. And these 300-pound dudes who are banged up, that's not going to help them at all. I like the Bills now. I do. And a lot of it has to do with Tremaine Edmonds being in. That guy's an absolute stud. And he's the quarterback of that defense. He's the Luke Kuechly, the Patrick Willis, the Ray Lewis. He's the guy, he's obviously not at that status yet. I don't want people to be like, you're comparing them to Hall of Famers. Just relax. That's the guy he's going to be.
Zach Moss out. So Singletary will be getting the bulk of the carries. Do you think Zach Moss being out is enough to make you not want to pull the trigger here?
No, because I love Singletary so much. And also, look, big country Josh Allen is going to be able to move the ball too. That guy's just an ox. And they have a running game and Singletary's just a beast. I love the way that guy runs. Yeah, Zach Moss hurts, of course, but next man up in Buffalo. Again, these are two great young coaches, and I do believe McDermott. Somebody said it last week, and I agree wholeheartedly. McDermott's one of the most underrated coaches in the NFL. I think Buffalo gets the job done at home today.
I think I'm going to add this in. I think it's too bad that the COVID issues forced McVay's hand to bring the Rams back to the West Coast. Kanaskat says, I love the over, and we've got cappers here on the under. Dennis Garcia under 47.5. I think I'm going to add the Bills to my action. Again, we're going to end the show at least 20 minutes before kickoff so that we can add in whatever bets we need to add in. Let's first talk about the total and then decide whether you're going to add the Bills. What do you think of this total?
We got to pull it up here. What are we sitting at?
It's right now, as we speak, it has moved down to, sorry, I had it right here, to 46.5 at the leading indicator books. But there are 47s out there.
I think this could end up being a slightly low-scoring affair. I'm not. I don't know if I'm loving this over. It doesn't appeal to me, anyways. It doesn't jump out to me as an exciting play right now.
All right, I'm going to add the Bills. Birdie approving the addition. Do you want to add the Bills? I will line shop for you right now on the odds page at odds.com.
Yeah, you know what? I might just.
The best -1 I can give you is, it's up to you, actually. This is an interesting option. I can give you -1 at -115, Or I can give you -1.5 at -103. Is that half point? Would you save 12 cents for the half point? Your call. -1, -115, or -1.5, -103.
I don't know if the half point matters enough for me. Let's throw the Bills in at -1 here.
-1 at -115 for Bebsy. And that is at, where is that? Sorry, let me just make sure. So for all the one thing that we can promise you is that we will be completely honest about our record throughout everything. We will quote the books and we will show you everything: win, loss, ROI, units, average line. -1 at -115 is at Bet America and Points Bet. So let's give it right there. Bet America. And then for me, if I want to pull the trigger here, I get -1.5 at -110 at Bet365. All right, I'm coming in too. I'm going to take the Bills here. -1.5, -110. All right, we're on the board. We are on the board. Johnny Z saying Bill's new kicker is iffy. Intex saying public money is coming in on the Rams. And Al says at -1, just take the money line. The money line is -125 for me. So no, I won't do that. I'll take the 1.5 and risk winning by 1 point. It's not worth 15 cents for me. If Bebeneck wanted to take the best money line, why don't we give him that option? Good call, Ant. Bebsy, if you want just the money line on the Bills, we can give you a -114.
No, I'll stick with where I'm at right now. I'm good. I like my move.
Okay, we're going to move on to Redskins-Browns. Redskins-Browns up next. Noli Knows joining us. All these great cappers in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us here for our Sunday NFL kickoff show. All right. Washington Football Club at Browns. Bebsy, we were talking about whether this was going to be a move towards the under, and I could not pull the trigger. You did not pull the trigger. Kevin Garrett's here on the Browns. Let's see what we are dealing with. Washington, Cleveland. Cleveland opening up at -6.5. Now they're 7s. The leading indicator books have moved that to 7.5 with plus money attached to it. This total at 44.5 is now at 45. Oof. Washington, Cleveland. So Stefanski gets his first NFL victory, and the score flattered the Bengals 35-30. The Browns were in complete control. Mayfield goes 16 of 23 for 219 yards, 8 different receivers. It was the rushing game that was dominant, 215 yards rushing. Now the Browns have had extra time to prepare for this very dangerous Washington front 7, and they're going to be at full strength, the Browns. Conklin returns from an ankle injury he suffered in week 1. That's a 3-year, $42 million player for them to protect Mayfield. He's back in action, and they get 3 expected defensive starters back. So Mac Wilson is back. Cornerbacks Greedy Williams, Kevin Johnson are all back. Now let's talk about these skins. They're thankfully Brandon Scherf is only out for a few weeks. That's about the only good thing you can say about what's happened this past week for Washington. Fuller and Holcomb are beat up, cornerback and linebacker. They were completely outclassed and outgained by Arizona. Does it happen here? Do you still find this under appealing? Are you going to make a move because you haven't yet on Washington, Cleveland? That'd be take it away.
Well, I'll get this out of the way. I'm probably still not going to make a move, but I'll say this. Well, first of all, Mac Wilson's a non-factor. He's fine in pass coverage. He's even better at missing tackles. I don't think that's a big addition for the Browns. Getting Greedy backs obviously is a bigger thing. I think that's important, especially when you look at the fact that Haskins is not great, to be nice. He's bad. I think he still has potential. He's just not there yet. For me, the big thing is the Browns need to operate run first. I said that week 1. I said that week 2. They showed it week 2 that they could, but I don't know how well that run game will fare against a healthy front 7 and just a mean front seven from Washington. There's space eaters in the middle with Payne and Allen. I think this ends up being a low scoring affair because Cleveland's going to have to put the ball in Baker's hands because that front from Washington is just going to crash down on Chubb and Hunt all day. That's the more appealing play to me. I'm off this game. These are two. I don't think the Browns are a good football team. I obviously don't think Washington is, but both teams boast a pretty strong defensive front. And the Browns are good on paper. They just don't show up. They should be phenomenal. If you look at that team, they should be great. They're not. I don't know if it's the unis. I don't know if it's the city. But it's an unpredictable game for me. Lean towards the under, but have it if you want it, but I'm out.
I guess the issue is that it's just properly lined. And that's why there's been so little movement throughout the week on the total. It's not like, it comes out last Sunday night at 45. It is exactly to a cent. It is exactly where it was put out on Sunday. And I guess that's the issue. I mean, if we were even getting a 46.5, 47, I make a move on the under. I can understand why cappers are making a move on the under.
I think that's the only play, really. But it's not compelling enough for me to want to jump on it. It's not, like you said, that like the line was set so perfectly. I just leave it alone. You don't have to make a play.
No, absolutely. And when there's enough options for us on the table. Gerald Jones says, how are Washington going to score? I know Matthew Niels, we're just about to move on. I hear you, but let me just how is Washington going to score? And if this defense is healthy and ready to put the hammer down, then is this Washington team total under 17.5 in play?
I don't know. Who knows? Like sometimes one guy can go off and ruin that. And, we all know Terry McLaurin is a guy who's explosive and can get it done. Haskins loves him, but you can double team him in that offense. They don't have a ton of other options. Well, they don't have any other options really. So it's a potential under. Again, there's nothing overly appealing to me. You want to jump on it? Go ahead. Just for me, not feeling it.
All right. Okay, let's move on to Titans Vikings. This is a spot you jumped in, and so did I on Tuesday. You got a better number than me. You got -1.5 at -121. I got -2.5 at -110 at Bet365. Let's talk about this Tennessee team here because they open up. I mean, there's the leading indicator books have moved it to 3. So it's probably going to be 3. Oh, I shouldn't say it could be 3 at kickoff across the board. There are 2.5s out there juiced. The big question mark is after the Jags get destroyed by the Dolphins, what do you make of this Titan squad that just barely beat them on a last-second field goal, beat the Jags, a last-second field goal by Gostkowski? The result makes them look bad. Now, nine straight games for Tannehill with at least 2 touchdowns. Leads the NFL since week 7 of last season with 10 straight games with at least 2 TDs. And injury issues, especially at cornerback. So Malcolm Butler, quadriceps, it looks like he's going to play. Adoree Jackson is on injured reserve. So those are the two starters. So one's banged up, one's done. Jonathan Joseph, the backup, and Chris Jackson, another backup, they're both on the injury report. Hamstring and calf muscles, so they're beat up. And then is Minnesota as bad as they've looked? Because they've looked absolutely atrocious. Cousins has looked terrible. They don't have Anthony Barr for the is he out for the full? No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, yeah, for the season with the torn pectoral. And then Mike Hughes and Cameron Dinsler, both questionable for today. Let's talk about this spot. Are the Vikings as bad as they've looked? Do you still feel confident on your Titans look?
I still feel very confident in this look. I don't put any stock into the Tennessee Jags game. Again, it's what I said before. The Jags, when they were massive underdogs in week 1 and 2, like there's no pressure on them. This week they were the favorites. They rolled in, or Miami rolled into Jacksonville and stomped them. I was off that play for the very reason I just felt it was a trap. I don't put a ton of stock into that. Divisional games matter a lot more. I'm looking at a bad Vikings team, and we went over the missing parts from last year. But to add a Anthony Barr to that list of guys who are already gone from that defense, it's not the same Vikings team. They look bad. They look like they missed their offensive coordinator. They look like they missed Diggs. It's just not the same football team, and I think the Titans are going to do what the Titans do best. They're going to give the ball to King Henry, let him smash it all day long, and then Tannehill's just going to not make mistakes. It's just, to me, it's still a lovely play. I'm very confident about this game still.
This total's gone all the way up to 50 at a couple books. It's pretty much 49.5 across the board. Open at 45.5. What do you think of this enormous move to the over?
I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with you. I don't know if either team suggests that this should keep going up. If anything, I take the under, especially with it going up. But for me, I don't need to double up. I love that I got the Titans at 1.5. Very confident about that play right now. Look, this Minnesota team is, I think, in for a long, long season. I could be wrong, and I even got a bit of soft spot for the purple guys, but I don't see this being a very fun season for anybody who's left on Minnesota.
So we know. Victor letting us know that AJ Brown is out. The Darrington Evans and Jameel Douglas are both questionable at this point. I'm telling you, I feel like this total's gone too high at 49.5.
Yeah, so do I. I don't love that it's going up. I'm not entirely sure why it's going up. But apparently the public seems to think it should. What's up, Nordy?
I went against the totals, the market moves on the totals in college football, and it was pretty middling. But here, I just feel like this is too high. It's gone too high.
Yeah, I mean, I see this as a game where Tennessee really just tries to control the ball, especially with AJ Brown still out. Like this is going to be a lot of carries for Henry today, and I think this is a great spot for him to bust out.
Wow, Swiatek has 49.5 projected on this game. I just think it's too high. Adam Lastman says Vikings are going to win, go to 1-2. Ravi says this game is going over. Titans will move the ball at will, and Vikings will keep pace. Will they keep pace? Because Cousins had a 0 passing rating into the third quarter of that loss against the Colts. And we're going to talk about the Colts shortly here. Their defense is number 1 in the league right now. But they look bad. They look bad. Milos says open at 45. You know what? I'm very nervous going up against Ravi, but I think the public has hammered this way too far. Way too far. A 5-point difference from the opening line.
Yeah, I think so too. I like this under more now. Again, don't feel the need to play it just because I'm loving where I'm sitting with that 1.5 for Tennessee. But it's going up too high. I think this is going to be a very controlled game for the Titans. Just wear them down.
Well, I feel the need to play this. I need to play this. I am.
That's what I like about you, Jimmy. You get excited about something, you want it. You don't. I'm chicken shit. You're like, go for it. Let's do it.
Look, you're 8-2 on the year, so whatever it is that you're doing, and you're being pensive early in the season is working.
You can say what you feel, Jimmy. You can call me a coward. Go ahead. That's what I am. I'm a coward. Fine.
Okay.
I know what I am.
Under 49. You're a winner, Bebsy. That's what you are. Under 49.5. I expect that's what I'm going to get when I bet it. This will be an addition that I'm going to be making to my card. Just ridiculous here. But Robbie's saying it was incorrectly put on the open. I feel you. Okay. All right, let's go. All right. Next up, we have Raiders Patriots. So, Babsy, we talked about this on Tuesday, and then I was like, well, how high is this line going to go up? Now, at that point, we weren't certain about Jacobs and Waller. They're both good to go. Oh, no, sorry. Did someone just say Jacobs is out? No. Who did I just – sorry, somebody just – Jacobs is good to go as far as I know. Jacobs good to go. Waller is good to go. Please let me know if that is happening. Robert Allen says, if you don't take the -2.5 here, you're refusing free money. I'm on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happier with my 1.5, but I agree with Robert Allen here. I just think this is an easy play. It's just a case of one football team is better than the other. Yeah.
Well, I still find it difficult. I mean, we talked about that roster and how much worse it looks from this year to last year, but as they've looked absolutely atrocious. I think they're a little better than the scores have indicated so far this year. But I'm with you. We took it on Tuesday, and now I'm adding the under. Raiders Patriots. So I pulled the trigger on the under in this spot. I got 47.5. That's a half point better than you can get right now. It opened up at 46.5, went up to 47.5, and I just felt like this. What everybody saw from the Patriots against the Seahawks is not a legitimate. People are making wrong assumptions on this Patriots team and how they're going to play. And we saw that week 1. That's how they're going to play at home. A 21-11 win. They go over to Seattle. Seattle can't stop anybody, and it's a wild 65-point game. So Jacobs, Waller 18 catches, second most through 2 weeks in the Raiders' history. Incognito hurt. Trent Brown, Sam Young questionable. Kwiatkowski, Abram questionable. Vegas converted 10 of 17 third downs, and we're going to bring that up in the Saints game. What are our expectations of the Saints defense moving forward? But Carr looked good, 20 to 38, 282 yards. And then we move over to the Pats. Edelman goes for 179 yards. Newton looks great. 30 for 44, 397 yards, runs 47 yards for 11 carries. But the big issue here is David Andrews is hurt. And this is not an offense that Cam Newton's been in for years.
Yeah.
And now he loses his center. And is that enough to make you pull the trigger on the Raiders? Because I'm close to. And I wanted to say it out loud and talk about it. Is now the time to not believe in what we've seen from Cam Newton? Take it away, Bebsy.
Well, I don't know. You're all around this, but not saying it. And it's something we've talked about already. It's that week 3 where people think they know what we got now. I've seen 2 games, so I know what these teams are going to be like. But we have seen 2 completely different games from the Patriots. Look, there was a slugfest and a long, drawn-out game against Miami, and then there was a high-scoring affair against Seattle. I don't know what to make of them yet, and I'm not sure I know what to make of the Raiders. I said preseason I like these guys. I think they could compete for a wild card. I didn't expect them to beat the Saints, especially the way they did. But again, they beat them on something that I was bringing up about the fact that Breeze can't throw a ball anymore. So for me, the injuries on both sides of the field here worry me. It feels like a lot of the Raiders playmakers, whether they play or not, they're banged up. Somebody just said Ruggs is out. But if Waller and Jacobs are banged up and Ruggs is out, that's a lot of, I mean, those are the 3 most important players on that offense, next to Carr. And then on the defensive side of the ball, the best player on that defense right now, I believe, is Abram. And if he's not at 100%, that's going to hurt them. So Look, I like the Raiders. I'm on the Raiders for the season. It's just this game. This game for me is another sit back, watch, learn a bit more about these teams before I start making real plays on this. So, and again, like you cannot count out Bill Belichick. Like Bill Belichick, he doesn't lose a lot of games back to back. He's gonna come in with a plan that's better than Gruden's plan. As you know, I just. It's a sit back and watch game for me. I want to learn more about both these teams before I get too excited and start making snap decisions on them.
So Trent Brown is out. So we had Brown and Young is questionable. Trent Brown is out. I feel like when it comes down to the last 5 minutes of the football game, we know that the Patriots are going to be able to move the ball on the ground and find Edelman. But Carr is going to be able to keep this close, I think, when he gets the ball.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I do. Like, the fan in me wants the Raiders to win. I just, man, Belichick's at home. Belichick's coming off a loss. You keep naming the Patriots players, but the most important person on the Patriots is that man on the sidelines. That psychopath uses his first 4 games of the season as a preseason. He's said it before. Like that's where he's figuring things out. Again, sit back and watch for me. It's enticing. It's enticing to take that spread, but I'm off it.
Okay, I'm about to pull the trigger on the Raiders as an addition here. I just think it's too many points, but I would like you to answer what JT is saying. My guy JT here, Bebeneck. He says, Pats played a hell of a game against the Hawks. Raiders are not the Hawks. The Raiders just beat the Saints.
Yeah, no, I completely disagree with that. The Raiders are the Hawks. The Hawks have a horrendous defense. Both teams have a good offense and a bad defense. The Seahawks have a better offense, but I would say that the Raiders have a better defense. So they very much are similar teams.
Joe Yurkovich says teams that look good on Monday night are a fade the next week. 6.5 points. Is this line going to Intex says Raiders up to 7? What do you think of Joey saying teams that look good on Monday night are a fade the next week?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that take. In fact, it's probably a pretty smart take, but yeah, again for me, it's just I need to sit back and watch this and still learn more about these teams.
I don't like what I've seen from the Patriots. I thought the Dolphins could have easily covered in week 1. I think that the Seahawks game does not give us like an honest appraisal of what this football team is.
Look, one thing we know about the Seahawks is Russell Wilson is incredible. He has some weapons. He still doesn't have a great O-line, but he has so many weapons. The Seahawks offense all year long is going to be they're going to be tough to stop. Their defense is just awful, though.
Raiders are +7. Now, they're not +7 where I would be shopping. But they are. They're +7 now. +7 and -115 now. I think Carr can get me that.
I mean, if you're excited about it, run it. I do think it's getting too high.
All right. Done. Birdie says trade lightly. Joe Yurvich said should be a pass. Let me just say I'm not high on these Patriots. And if this is a low-scoring affair, Carr can get me this. Carr can keep this close late. So,
yeah, I'm with Joe on this one. It's a pass for me, but like I said, I'm a coward, and I love your excitement. You inspire me to be a better person, Jimmy.
Probably a weaker gambler, but a better person. All right, let's move forward here. Okay. Let's go to the Niners game. Let's talk about the Niners here. We talked about this possibly being a sneaky over. The market is telling us we were absolutely right, but you didn't pull the trigger. I did on the over 41.5. I was curious to see if it could go down to 41. I actually pulled the trigger as soon as it was announced that we were going to see Mullins. And I was like, I wonder what that's going to do to the market. But that continues to make it go. It continues to raise. So we're now at 43s almost entirely across the board. The Niners were minus 4.5. They were at 3 at some point, right? Let me make sure that that's a fact. Yes, they were minus 3. And as soon as they got to minus 3, there was buyback. And I'm a little upset. And Joshua Bell saying Raiders will easily cover the 7. And the Rams will defeat the Bills, says Joshua Bell. I am upset that when I saw it get down to 3, I didn't take the other side. It was the sexy article everywhere. Giants, underdog, money line win, outright win. I look forward to hearing your breakdown of this game. So Garoppolo, gone. Nick Bosa, done. Mostert, gone. Thomas, Kittle, Tevin Coleman out for a month. So we'll see the McKinnon and Jeff Wilson show. Sherman, injured reserve. And nobody knows when that happened. Dennis Garcia says Giants +4. How many road games has Mullins won? 0. That was a different 49ers team.
Yeah, it's hard to bring up that 49ers team and blame Mullins. He came in and played admirably with you go back and look at that roster, like nobody it was left on that team. That year, I think the Niners finished with 27 players on IR. They have 11 starters out right now. But again, it's kind of like the Patriots in that the most important guy is on the sideline, I think, for the 49ers offense anyways. Look, we've seen Jerick McKinnon look great so far. Jeff Wilson Jr. is their other backup. He's very underrated. Other than their center, Weston Richburg, who's been out all season, that offensive line, touch wood, is still healthy. So I think they will be able to run the ball. It's just it's off for me because I don't know how a team plays with that many starters out. I don't know what the mentality is in that 49ers locker room, especially because they got to go back out and play at MetLife. And players said they don't want to play. They're worried about playing in the stadium. And, if you're worried about playing a football game, how are you going to show up? So, I think even with the lopsided talent, even the backups on the Niners right now, they are the deepest team in football. Even with that, playing against a bad Giants team, I just don't like the mentality that team has going into this week. It's a no play for me. The only thing I do like is the over, and I don't like it enough to jump on it, but I don't know. We don't know anything about this football team right now. They've been mishmashed together with guys coming up from from the practice squad. Guys signed off the street. Ziggy Ansah, I think he's playing today. He signed this week. Deion Jordan's coming up from the practice squad. Hronis Grasu's coming up from the practice squad. JaMychal Hasty's coming off the practice squad. We don't know anything about these Niners. So Jason Lowry saying who will score? Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's system will score. So, yeah, I still think they can put up points.
Let's move because I agree. I thought this over was going to be very sneaky, regardless of the personnel that was going to be out offensively for the Niners. We've talked a lot about the Niners. Let's move over to the Giants. No Saquon. No Sterling Shepard. So we're going to see Dion Lewis. And we know what he can do out of the backfield as a receiver. They've got also Gallman inactive. But he's supposed to be back this week. So it's supposed to be Gallman, Devonta Freeman, who they just signed, and Dion Lewis. New York averaging just 14.5 points a game. and be turning the ball over frequently, but should be able to put points up on the board against this damaged 49er defense. James Bradbury looks great at corner. The other corner is a problem. Valentine looks bad. So he was replaced by Isaac Yiadom, and it's still a very, very weak spot that Mullins can take advantage of. And then Evan Engram, I don't know what to say about him, but he started looking good we saw one quarter of Engram looking like the guy we thought he was going to be. So what do you expect from
Ingram's whole career is he plays a great game and he plays a terrible game. Like sometimes Evan Engram is just like, wow, this guy has all-pro potential, and then he just disappears for weeks at a time. He's such a frustrating player. Like I thought he was going to be great when he came into the league, and sometimes he flashes that and sometimes he doesn't. He's very frustrating. I think right now their offense has everything to do with Slayton. I don't know how much of a factor we're going to see from Devontae Freeman this week. He's only been there for a few days. I don't see a ton of touches for him. It'll be interesting to see how this team operates without Saquon. It could be a situation where maybe they open up the offense a little bit. Maybe they're better without him because they're not trying to force the ball to him. I'm just not too sure about that. This is still a team. It's still a very young, raw team with holes on both sides of the ball. Yeah, I agree. Robert Allen, he's probably going to get about 10 to 15 touches. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the over is the only play that entices me. I have no idea what to expect from this 49ers team. I kind of have an idea to what to expect from the Giants team.
Well, I took the over 41.5, and I like it. And even if it's a low-scoring first half, I think I'm still going to be in store for a catch there.
I mean, people keep bringing up the fact that, all right, Kittle's out, Mostert's out, Debo hasn't played yet, but they love Brandon Ayuk, and I think this could be a bit of a coming-out game for him. Jordan Reed played phenomenal last week. McKinnon has already played great. They love JaMychal Hasty. They were worried they weren't going to be able to keep him on that practice squad. And Jeff Wilson Jr., man, he's an underrated player. That guy runs hard and mean. Ross Dwelly, when Kittle was out last year, they rode Ross Dwelly against the Cards. Like, there are still playmakers on this 49ers team, and especially with Kyle Shanahan calling the plays, they're going to be able to move the ball especially against a very weak Giants team. They also got Mohamed Sanu. So Mohamed Sanu's been there for now 2 weeks. He knows Kyle Shanahan's system. I mean, I don't know if you can bet on whether or not Sanu throws for a touchdown today, but I think that play could be in the books today.
I'm excited about watching a game with so many moving parts. Let's move on to Bengals Eagles. I told you guys, man. I'm sure that our Prince of the City has been paying his mortgage over the last couple of years off fading his Philadelphia teams. It's probably been the best 2 or 3 year run of fading Philadelphia teams because they're very highly thought of. I mean, look at like Eagles, Flyers, Sixers have been very highly thought of, and he's making so much money fading his teams. And he gets in my head. I think about it when I watch these Philly teams play. But I have to think that this Bengals team that can't they redo their defense, and is it even worse now? I mean, obviously they need Geno Atkins back badly. He's out with the shoulder injury. I don't know if Mike Daniels is going to be able to go. Sean Williams done. Bengals were worst in the league against the run in 2019, allowing 149 yards per game. They're averaging more than that this year. So they get Jonah Williams back. He misses a rookie season, and this was a first-round pick. And Jonah I don't know if the pressure's getting to him, but he's not doing a good job. Suafilo they lost. Mixon ran 16 times for 46 yards in a spot where they were only giving pass defenses against him. He should have been able to do more than that. So I see Sanders being able to gash this Bengals front seven. And the Eagles have so much on the line. They're 0-2. Everyone's questioning Wentz. I know that they lost Dillard for the season, but their offensive line is better. I was waiting for the Eagles first half -3, and it came on the board, and I attacked it and bet it. Bengals, Eagles. Let's see what the market is telling us now, Bebsy. Here we have full game and money coming in on the Bengals. Money's coming in on the Bengals. This went down to 4.5. I was like, could this even get down to 4 from the 6.5 opening? And now it's back up to 5.5. This total sitting at 46 and 46.5 for 47. Take it away, Bengals, Eagles, Bebsy.
I think to be honest with you, I like the Bengals to cover here. And somebody brought this up a couple of weeks ago, and it's hard for me to get it out of my head. And it's, do we still think this Eagles team is the team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago? Like, they're still kind of, they're still sitting on that reputation that they're a Super Bowl caliber team. They've been bad. Now, I know that Sanders coming back is a big lift, but I told you that stat on Tuesday that no one has missed passes with a clean pocket more than Wentz this year. He has 15 errant throws from a clean pocket. Something's up with Wentz. I don't know if it's an injury that he's playing through. I don't know if it's a mental thing, but man, I just cannot get behind the Eagles right now. They're injured. They're playing ugly. And I can't get behind the Bengals either, but right now I could see like another backdoor cover for Joe Burrow. They're just going to keep throwing that ball. They love Joe. Joe's having fun out there. He's just a little dipshit kid smoking cigars and having fun. There's no real pressure on the Bengals. I think most people think they're going to suck. I can't get excited about the Eagles. So if there is a play here, I like the Bengals to cover. But I don't like either one of these teams. I think this is I think these are two bad football teams. I was higher on the Eagles before the season started, and just they have looked awful so far. So until they change my mind, I can't get excited about them.
Wow, look at our Jacob Fogarty. He jumped on the Bengals plus 6.5 when he was listening to our show on Tuesday. Great job, Jacob. Great job. Look, I got to speed up the pace. I got Loshak's brisk pace in my head. Ski Profit talking about it. I think the Eagles first half -3 is a great look. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I just think that Sanders can destroy them. It's just a 1-unit bet and part of my action this weekend. And I can understand Prince of the City keeps cashing, fading them on the big money lines, and I can understand why he'd go right back to the well. I can understand why he would go right back to the well. Okay, let's keep rolling. We have an hour and 7 minutes before kickoff. Let's move on to Texans Steelers. Bebsy, this was a move you made that I didn't come on with you. You took the Steelers at -3.5. The problem is it's just so much fun talking football. We spend a little too long on these games, and I apologize. I'll try to speed up. The Steelers open up at -5. They get down to 3.5. Some books are hanging 4s now. Let's just go for a quick line history here on the spread. So
I got Pittsburgh at -3.5 on Bet Rivers.
Yeah, you did, at -118. And it's back at 3.5 now at most of the main indicating books. So it's sitting and Von Polo also on the Bengals money land. So the reason why I've been hesitant to jump with you here, and maybe I would have if it was a 3, is just the Texans have had the most difficult start to the season. I know we talked about the mismanagement of Bill O'Brien and the mistakes that he's made, that he continues to make. And I don't know what's going on with Will Fuller. So Will Fuller didn't have a reception last week. He had 8 for 112 in the opener. 63% of Houston's offensive plays he was in for, and he wasn't targeted once. So Duke Johnson's going to be out of the lineup, so it'll be the David Johnson show. But I don't think we've had a fair look at. You want to start off your season against the very, very best teams in the league,
and now their tough start continues.
Definitely.
Look, Pittsburgh has a top 3 defense in the NFL. They are a nasty group, and Bud Dupree and TJ Watt are flying out the gates. Those guys, I think they're second and third or third and fourth in total pressures on the season. Like, to have 2 guys on the same team that are leading the NFL in pressures, like, they're just going to be all over Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson just doesn't have the help. He doesn't have Nuke anymore. That is such a huge drop, all because he didn't get along with Bill O'Brien. How do you ship out a player of that talent? Look what he's doing in Arizona. He's making Kyler Murray look great right now. I think this Texans team, despite, it's a very difficult start. You play the best 2 teams in football. They just don't have what it takes to go up against this Steelers defense. I think Deshaun Watson's going to get beat up today. And, man, Bill O'Brien is just getting further and further on this hot seat. He might not finish the season as their head coach. Well, he must, because he's their GM too. But as soon as this season's done, Bill O'Brien's fired the next day. This just looks like an easy play still for me. I don't see the other side of the argument. I really don't. I don't think Houston is a good football team right now.
How good are the Broncos? Did they just take the foot off the gas against the backup quarterback in Denver? I mean, it's been a pretty... Yeah, I do think they took the foot off the gas there. Look, everyone was so high on the Broncos before the season. Obviously, injuries have derailed what could have been in Denver. I wasn't high on them to begin with, but... Man, I think the Steelers that's a phenomenal defense. I think they finally found the replacement for Shazier in Devin Bush. It's just a nasty defensive football team. They're going to play mean Steelers football today, and I still think this is an easy play. Again, could be wrong. We all know we've established that I'm a coward, but I like this play. Well, you have it locked in at a nice price. What do you think of what our Jay Peach has said? OG Lowbagger, roll with us since day one. Watson is the most overrated quarterback I've seen in 30 years of watching football.
No, because I think Kurt Warner is the most overrated quarterback we've seen in 30 years. Everybody used to bag groceries. Great. He's in the Hall of Fame, even though in the prime of his career he got cut, because unless he was surrounded by Hall of Famers, he didn't do jack shit. I don't know if Watson's terribly overrated. They do put him on a pedestal. They treat him like he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He's not. But what Watson is he's a gamer. He went to Clemson. He declined Bama to go to Clemson because he wanted to beat Bama. I respect that in a player. And then he did. And then he went out and he beat Bama in the national championship. So, man, I like the player, but yeah, he is slightly overrated. Everyone trashes Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo, top statistics, had a slightly better season than Watson last year. Everyone says Watson's amazing. Everyone says Garoppolo's trash. So it is all optics. I think he's slightly overrated. Most overrated quarterback in 30 years. No.
I'm not going to go with you on this. I'm certainly not going to take the other side. Bebsy -3.5, got it at -118 at Bet Rivers. Be curious to see if you could beat that number right now. Let's just see what the licensed American books are offering up Bebsy right now, although he's not going to double up or anything. If he wanted it right now, this is the last one of our 1 o'clock games. We move on to the afternoon games. The Steelers, you get -3.5 at -105 at FanDuel and at PointsBet. 107 at Bet Rivers. So an 11-cent move at the Bet Rivers price. Alrighty, Bebsy on the one of his bets here. Steelers -3.5 and -118. Those are the 1 o'clock games. So for those of you who are joining us a little late, let's review the action. Bebsy's made one addition. So of the 1 o'clock games, he's on the Titans -1.5, Steelers -3.5, and he's added the Bills -1.
I'm not even listening to my own advice. I tell people to relax on week 3 because we start to think we know things, and now I'm putting out more official bets than I have in the previous 2 weeks because I think I've got it figured out. I'm a coward and a moron.
Well, you're sitting at 8-2.
I am, but yeah, I mean, look, I said the only play I'm not super comfortable on is the Zona game. That's the one that I'm not sure if I still love, but I'm sticking with my guns.
Oh yeah, sorry, because that's the later game. That's why we haven't talked about it. So the 1 o'clock games. For me, the 1 o'clock games, I just had Titans -2.5. And then I added in on Friday the Raiders, Patriots under 47.5, the Niners, Giants over 41.5, and the Eagles first half -3. And I'm still close to look, I'm squirming. I'm close to adding in Bears, Falcons over 47, but I haven't done that yet. What I am sure I'm going to add is I'm adding the Bills. It's -1.5, -110 right now at Bet365. I'm going to do that. And then the other one that I've already added is the under 49.5 in Titans Vikings. I just feel like it's gone too high. And the Raiders +7. So I've made a bunch of additions on the 1 o'clock slate. Alrighty, let's move on to the 4:05 games. Today we have 2 popping off at 4:05, I believe, and then we have the 2 at 4:25. Okay, 4:05 games. Let's go. We start with Jets Colts. We both moved on the under on Tuesday. Bebsy got under 44 -110 FanDuel. We line shop for him on the odds.com odds page. I just had to take what I was going to bet, and that was 43.5 at Bet365. Let's see what has changed here in the 4:05 spot. Jets Colts. This total has gone down, which is a good sign because it was started at a low total. So it's now, you can still get 44s. There's a couple on the board. Most of them have gone to 43.5. The Colts are just taking money and more money and more money. Open at -9.5. It's now up to 12.5 at some books. Colts have the league's top-rated defense. They trade for Pro Bowler DeForest Buckner. They move Autry to defensive end. They sign Xavier Rhodes, and their defense looks awesome. I just can't believe they wasted $18 million on Rivers. You can put that money into your defense and have by far the best defense in the league, or get some more playmakers. I don't know. I just don't understand why they put $18 million in Rivers. So, you want to chime in there?
No, the thinking was like, we have this defense in place. We have a very good, one of the best offensive lines in football. We have some weapons now. Let's put a guy in who doesn't screw up, except they picked a guy who loves to screw up and has a weaker arm than he used to, and it wasn't a great arm last year or the year before. It's just, look, this point total for me, I love this play right now as an under just because they have that incredible defense, so it's going to come up to them to put up points on offense. And I said before, it's going to be the John Taylor show. If they're smart, which I do believe Frank Reich is, they just have to hand the ball off to Taylor and just make sure Rivers doesn't throw the ball, okay? Like, just keep it out of Rivers' hands. Play old school football. Run the ball, stop them on defense. I think that has to be the play for the Colts right now. And look, the Jets are bad. The Jets are an awful football team with the worst coach maybe in the history of the NFL. This to me has to be a low scoring affair. If this opens up, it'll blow my mind. Look, Jets offense versus that defense not going anywhere. Therefore, just run the ball, put up the points you need. Do not let Rivers throw. Rivers has like 9 throws left before his arm falls off. Conserve those for when you need them. You don't need them against the Jets. Easy underplay here. It's that simple.
Last year, the Jets were playing the Patriots in a similar spot as this, and I said on the show, I was like, the Patriots under 13.5 is the easiest play you could possibly make. The Eagles. Sorry, I'm trying to go back to this spot. The Jets under 13.5
ghost game. That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, and it was the under 13.5. I was like, there's just no way they're going to put up 14 points. They got a very, very lucky touchdown to score 7, but at the end of the game, they pulled Brady, and Stidham came in, threw a pick 6 with like a minute and a half left, and it cost me the win where I was so certain I was going to be right. The Jets inactives.
You can't let that freak incident cloud your mind here. That can happen, but that's illogical.
I'm only saying this because I think this could be a double up spot. I'm on the under 43.5, but we're talking about this Jets team that has no Fant, no Crowder, no Perriman. So there's your right tackle and your best 2 receivers. Forget about the defense with no Ashton Davis, Quincy Wilson, or Bryce Huff. They have the fewest yards per game in the league. Their only first half points have come on 2 field goals. They're 27th in third down conversions, and now no Perriman or Crowder. Their first half team total here is at 14.5. Do they get to 15 points today?
The only way they're getting to 15 points is in garbage time. But look, they had was it 6 points against the Niners last week until they got a garbage time touchdown playing against Niners third stringers. Like, there was nobody left. Shanahan was just like, get everybody out so there's no more injuries. And then they finally put up a garbage time touchdown. Look, this is an awful, awful offense. It's an awful football team. There's very few bright spots on that Jets team. I don't know. Look, to me, the easy play is the total under. But if you want to look at team totals too, yeah, it's probably going to stay under. Look, if you just look at statistically, if the Colts defense is better than the Niners defense, and the Niners defense held them to 6 until the very end, and they only ended up at 13, then yeah, the team total under is the Jets under is in play as well. But
how do they get to 14.5 points unless Rivers throws?
Well, Rivers could throw a pick 6 on the first play of the game. He's that bad. But I think they're smart enough to, at this stage, to keep the ball out of Rivers' hands, especially when you got a hoss like Taylor running that ball.
All right, I'm adding it. I don't think they can screw me like this again. This just seems like I get the extra point. So when I lost on that 13.5, it's because I got the 14 points. Now I have 14.5. It's juiced.
Bumbaclot 24. I'm so sorry, man.
I'm on it. I'm doubling up now. I'm going to add Jets team total under 14.5. Let's move on to Panthers, Chargers. Panthers, Chargers. This is the second 4-0-5 game here. Let's see what we are dealing with in the market. So we talked about, and this is a move I make. I love making it. I love when, and I haven't been able to do it here, but I love when a quarterback or a kid in a very big spot in any sport has no idea that he's going to be showcased and highlighted and the lead his team, and finds out 2 minutes before, and he is spectacular. And now he has a week to think about it. Herbert, 22 of 33, 311 yards, touchdown and a pick. He's had a whole week to know that he's the starting quarterback. He does look like a pretty sound kid, and I don't really want to fade him here. Do we know if Kawan Short? I've been trying to figure out if Kawan Short is going to be in the lineup dealing with this foot injury. The Carolina Panthers defense needs him so badly. 6 rushing scores they've allowed. I mean, they allowed 32 last season. They've already allowed 6. I think their offense can still roll without McCaffrey. And I think Bridgewater's going to step up. And I think this is a letdown spot for the Chargers, but I still haven't been able to pull the trigger on the Chargers. They opened up at -6.5. That's where they stand right now. This total's gone from 44.5 to 43.5. What are you thinking here, Bebsy, Panthers, Chargers?
I mean, I have the same opinion that I did Thursday, which is which is I'm just scared of this game. I don't know exactly. You and I are lockstep in our opinions of Herbert. Like his first start, the best thing about that was he didn't know. He didn't know he was starting. He comes in without thinking, without getting in his own head. And you're right. He does seem like a sound kid in his draft interviews. Everyone loved him. He said all the right things. He's obviously like an incredible athletic prototype. And the Chargers football team is so good on paper. They always start so slow and then start kicking ass later in the season. I don't know if it's Anthony Lynn. I don't know if it's, they're living that LA life and don't get into game mode until midway through the season. I'm just not at all interested in this game. I want to see what Herbert's like in his second start after he's had time to think about it, and after teams have had some video on him. They can see what he's about. I know it's only one game and you can't get a ton of tape off it, but there's, these guys are geniuses. They'll figure out what he doesn't do right. And then on the other side, I don't agree with you that Christian McCaffrey isn't such a huge blow to this team. Look, he is maybe the most dynamic offensive weapon in football right now. He's a Marshall Faulk type player in that he's a phenomenal receiver and just such an incredibly shifty, elusive running back. Like you took two weapons off the offense in that, because you didn't just take away a running back, you took away one of their best receivers. And they still have a ton of talent as far as weapons go, but they got a shaky O-line, and I wonder what they're going to do without McCaffrey. So this is another sit back and watch, figure out a little bit more about these teams before I make any kind of play on them.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, this isn't the Barry Sanders Detroit Lions. But you mentioned that. You said they have a ton of weapons still. They do.
Yeah, I don't think it's Barry Sanders, because Barry Sanders had, that's more Saquon Barkley with the Giants is Barry Sanders. It's Saquon or nothing there. It feels like the Panthers again. This is more like McCaffrey reminds me so much of Marshall Faulk in Marshall Faulk's heyday. He was incredible, and he was so important to that team. Now, you remember Marshall Faulk had a knee injury in one of those Super Bowl run years. I can't remember which one it was, but that offense still made moves because they had a ton of good receivers. And look, the Carolina Panthers still have very good receivers. They still have more. They still have Robbie Anderson. They still have Samuel. There's still weapons there. They can still move the ball. And look, I'm a Teddy Bridgewater fan. I hope the best for him, but man, he's such an important piece. McCaffrey is.
I'm off this spot. Is there anything that this is a watch and see how they handle McCaffrey and how Herbert looks as knowing he's the starting quarterback for the week?
To be honest with you, man, there's sometimes you just want to sit back as a football fan and enjoy learning a bit more about these guys and man, yeah, I want to see what Herbert does in week 2 with a week to thinking about being the starter. And I do want to see. I want to see, because now the shift in Carolina has to be to Moore, and I love Moore. I mean, Moore is such an underrated stud as a receiver. He does not get the respect he deserves, and maybe with McCaffrey out, Moore throws up 150 yards this week, and people are like, "Oh wait, hey, we should look more at this guy." Didn't he finish 4th overall in receiving yards last year? The guy can ball.
He certainly can. Their wide receiver core looks good, and this is no. I don't mean to disrespect McCaffrey, but Mike Davis and Curtis Samuel, I'm excited to see what they can do. And all right, nothing there. Let's move on to the 4:25 games. We're going to start with Buccaneers Broncos. Very, very interesting spot on the board. Been talking about it often. The Bucs open up at -6. They're still there at some books. Some have taken it down to 5.5, which is a crucial number. Drew Lock out with the shoulder injury. So now on the injured reserve, Sutton, Draymond Jones, Von Miller, Bouye. I mean, they're missing big, big pieces. Now, Driscoll, 18 of 34, 256 yards against a tough Steeler defense. He kept them in the game, and he looked good. Brady is throwing interceptions in his past 4 starts. 3 of them pick sixes. He obviously created some chemistry with Mike Evans last out. Fournette looked good. Gronkowski's doing nothing. What is Tom Brady going to do?
Brady didn't create chemistry with Mike Evans. Mike Evans is incredible. Mike Evans made Johnny Manziel look incredible in college. Mike Evans made Jameis Winston look good at times. Now he's making Brady look not awful. Mike Evans is the chemistry there. That's one-sided chemistry. The guy is incredible. Mike Evans, if he had a very good quarterback, I'm not saying like even a good, if he had a very good quarterback, he'd probably be the best receiver in this league. He is an absolute beast of a man. There's the chemistry. Don't put any of this on Brady. Brady is just like Breeze and just like Rivers right now. Doesn't have the arm strength anymore. But the difference is there is an insane amount of weapons in Tampa. Brady's not the GOAT. He's the best system QB of all time with the best resume. There's like 7 quarterbacks that are better than him. There, I said it.
All right. So, do you think? I mean, I don't see. No, look, you want to back the Broncos at home throughout the season. I think you're going to get value with them, especially with a backup quarterback. But I can't touch the Broncos, and this is a Buccaneers or no play for me. How do you see this from any betting angle? And what do you think about this total sitting open at 43.5, now 42.5?
Look, I got the chat riled up about Brady. Brady's a system guy, you know it. All of his Super Bowls except for one were won by the defense. You guys know it. You're lying to yourselves. Get off Brady. Sorry, what were we talking about?
What's your expectation of the total, and what's your expectation? The total is now down to 42.5.
Look, this Broncos team that everyone raved about in the offseason, look, I wasn't that high on them in the offseason before all these injuries. Now that the injuries are piling up, like, I don't know what Jeff Driscoll's going to do. I don't know what I don't know what this offense is going to, or this defense is going to do now without Von Miller, without Bouye. This is just a disaster for the Denver Broncos, and I just don't know. I don't know what to make of the Bucs yet either. I mean, to me, this is just not this isn't a game that appeals to me at all. The Bucs are going to win. I'm pretty sure we can guarantee that, but I don't know by how much. I think if they're smart, again, they'll save what's left of Brady's arm and just run the ball this game against a weaker opponent.
Joe Yurkovich looking at Bucks first quarter -0.5. Says that looks really good. That does sound good. That does sound good. Birdie's been preaching this about this game as we've been talking, as we've been leading up to this. Says Brady struggles in Denver very badly. I want to take the Broncos. I want it so badly, but no play for me. No play for me as well. No play for me as well. All right, let's move on to Lions Cardinals. I'm looking forward to hear you talk about this game, Bebsy. We have about, I guess the witching hour will always be 15 minutes to 1 p.m. Eastern. So if that's the witching hour, we have 22 minutes, but we should get the show done in 17 minutes. Let's talk Lions Cardinals. I didn't pull the trigger with you. And money's been coming in on the Lions. The leading indicator books have now taken the Lions to +5. This total opened up at 53. It's now up to 55.5. You moved on the Cardinals -5.5, and I did not. And it's not that I am not extremely impressed with the Cardinals and don't know what to make of how bad this Lions team is. They've lost their first 2 games, giving up the most yards rushing in the NFL. No Golladay. Offensive line injuries with Vaitai and Dahl. Trufant, Coleman. They have their defensive tackle, Nick Williams. They all got hurt in that loss at Green Bay. They've lost 11 straight overall. Patricia, 9-24-1 as a head coach. They've lost 11 times after leading in the fourth quarter. That's not including their tie, because that tie last year they were up 18 points in that tie. They allowed 31 straight points against the Packers. And we have this Arizona team just rolling, completely rolling. Hopkins, 8 passes for 68 yards. They completely dominate Washington. Kyler Murray, first player to ever pass for 500 yards, rushed for 150 in the first 2 weeks of the season. Kenyon Drake looking good. And their defense, this whole rebuild defense, has given up just 17.5 points per game, second in the NFL. They gave up the most total yards in the NFL last year. They held San Fran and Washington to 6 for 23 on third down. That rebuilt defense, Devon Kennard, Devondre Campbell, Jordan Phillips, and then they draft Isaiah Simmons. But money coming in on the Lions, and you're uncomfortable with your spot. Take it away.
I'm uncomfortable with the spot just because it feels a bit like a trap game to me. But if I break it down logically, I still land on Arizona. Look, the big factor for me is you need a special defense, or at least a couple of special players on defense to shut down Kyler Murray right now. He carved up a reasonably healthy 49ers defense in week 1. The Detroit Lions don't have anybody who can stop Kyler Murray. And he's the darling of the NFL. So you breathe on him and you're going to get a flag. And Murray knows that. Murray gets wafted and he stands up and he's doing this. He knows exactly how to play it. He's a smart player. I love watching him play. There's just nobody on this Dolphins defense that can contain him. He's a special young player. He's flying right now, and this Detroit defense has not looked good. And their offense is the Detroit offense just isn't really gelling. There's some talent there. There's no question about that. But there's up and down guys, and I just again, it scares me because it feels like a trap game. But if I break it down in my head, it should be Arizona, and it should be Arizona by a bunch.
Yeah, I understand, but something's keeping me. Maybe it's just the vividness of last year when they met at the beginning of the season. But okay, so then, because I guess your fears of the trap spot here. Lions Cards. I'm off of it. Bebsy got the -5.5 at DraftKings on Tuesday. Alrighty, let's move on to Cowboys Seahawks. This is going to be so much fun, but neither of us has made a move on it. Neither of us have made a move on it. Seattle opening up at -4.5. You can still get 4.5 at some books. There's some 5s at other books. There is a 5.5 available. Seattle lost Bruce Irvin, Marquise Blair to major knee injuries last week. Amadi will step in for Blair. It's unclear who's going to step in for Irvin and what Amadi's going to do. Russell Wilson became the third quarterback ever to throw 5 TDs against the Bill Belichick defense. I mean, he's just incredible. His 5 TDs went to 5 different players. The guy's just spectacular. 9 touchdown passes and 11 incompletions. The 1 interception shouldn't have been a pick, tipped off of Olsen. I mean, Carroll continues to make questionable decisions, but this Seahawks offense looks spectacular. Their defense looks terrible. And then you have Dallas, which is a very similar situation. This pass rush has 2 sacks in 2 games, but Prescott went 34-47 for 450 yards. I mean, first quarterback in NFL history to pass for over 400 and rush for 3 touchdowns. And in crunch time, he went 13 for 19 for 182 yards. Dallas leads the NFL with 41 plays of 10 yards or more. Seattle has allowed the most plays of 10 yards or more in the NFL. So obviously, it screams to the over, which is all the way up to 57. And there's nothing wrong with betting the over. Take it away, Bebsy.
You're right. It does scream over. It screams, look, 2 weak defenses playing against 2 strong offenses. It screams over, and it kind of screams Seahawks just because of Dak's performances against winning teams. We know that record. We know how bad it is. But yeah, look, the Seattle defense has been atrocious this year. The only reason that nobody's really talking about it is because of how incredible that offense has been. And man, Russell Wilson is on fire right now. He's mad about never getting an MVP vote. He deserves an MVP vote. He deserves them all this year. He's a better quarterback right now than Tom Brady ever was. There, I said it. This screams over to me. You could have a backdoor cover from Dallas Cowboys. They're coming off that emotional, crazy win, which I feel this could be a letdown game for them. So it's over or nothing. I'd stay off the spread here, but yeah, even at 56.5, that still looks like a pretty tasty over.
Yeah, I wonder if that's. 55 up to 57. I usually stay away from totals that get up to close to 60. But I did take this Chiefs Ravens over on Monday night. The
Chiefs Ravens over. I said earlier that's my favorite play of the week.
We have a lot of guys liking Seahawks. Jay Peach -5 Seahawks is the play of the day, and then other cappers saying, like Joe Yurkovich says, Seattle deep exhale after that last game, sitting fat and happy.
So here's the thing about the Seattle defense is their best pass rusher right now is a safety. That's awful. Just say that out loud to yourself and tell me it's not true. Their best pass rusher is a safety. They have no defensive front. Therefore, Dak's going to have a clean pocket all day. So I do believe both teams should be able to put up bunches and bunches of points.
Jay Peach says Cowboys would need to be close to backdoor. That won't happen. Seahawks all day, zero doubt.
Yeah, and that's why Peach could be right, and it's why for me there's no appeal in the spread in this. But I do think that over is still, even at 56.5, is still very much in play.
Do you want it?
I don't want it because I'm a coward and I have a ton. I have a bunch already, and I can't just. I don't like adding shit right before the games because a lot of the time it's just me getting excited because we're like 28 minutes away from football and I just start believing my own bullshit and I'm getting hyped up. But I wish I would have talked about this earlier in the week. I feel like, yeah, Big Drew's right. It's probably going to be close to 80. You know what? Fuck it. Add it. Let's do it. Add it.
All right, we have an addition, a late addition. Let's line shop for you on the odds.com odds page right now to the total. These are the licensed American books for Bebsy. And he's adding the over, and it's 56.5, almost across the board. Foxbet has used the 57. But
you know what?
Nice
I'm not doing it. I'm getting too excited. Walking away from this. Leave it. Leave it. I got my picks in. Leave it.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Right when Elliot V said, proud of you, Bebsy.
I'm sorry, Elliot. I'm sorry. I'm a coward.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh, no.
And it's going to be like 80 points. It is.
Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Cluck. Says not applicable. All right, we're gonna go over best bets. There's Robert Cherry on his vacation joining us. I'm not making a move on Cowboys Seahawks.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to the night game. We got to be pretty brisk here. The Packers Saints, and this was another bet you made that made me uncomfortable. Not that I'm going to take the other side, but uncomfortable. And you took the Packers plus 3.5 on Tuesday night, and you got that at -110 at BetMGM, and now it's at 3, and that's such an important hook that you got. Very crucial. And also the -3s are heavily juiced. There's a -3 at -130 on the board. This total in the night game, Packers Saints, has gone from 51 to 52 or 52.5. Saints ranked 21st in total offense. The Michael Thomas ankle injury is blatant. Kamara looks spectacular. And you have issues to their defense with Chase Hansen and Marcus Davenport. Breeze, his arm doesn't look strong. They're getting penalized like crazy right now, and that's with no fans. I mean, they had 129 yards in penalties, and they can't blame crowd noise for that last week. And they're on the short week. Packers are scoring more than 40 points a game right now. Rodgers is throwing 6 TDs, 0 picks. Devontae Adams' groin injury, they made it seem like it wasn't so bad and that he should be good to go. You backed the Packers plus 3.5. Take it away, Bebsy.
I backed the Packers because Aaron Rodgers is in a warpath right now. He looks like vintage Aaron Rodgers right now. So I'm putting my stock in him. I'm looking at these two quarterbacks right now. One looks old and broken, and one looks like the player he was in the prime of his career. I like what's happening right now with the Pack. They look good. They've got the Smith brothers on defense that look great. Preston and Za'Darius. And quite frankly, Breeze without Thomas. Look, Breeze he's had a weak arm for the last couple years. It's been hidden a lot because of Sean Payton's scheming and because of the fact that Thomas will gobble up yards. And he just I just can't put any stock in Drew Brees right now. The Saints, again, they usually start the season off a little bit slow. But man, this is I'm betting Rodgers over Brees right now. This is my reasoning for making this choice. So yeah, I'm still comfortable taking this play with the Pack, and until Brees shows me that he can throw a ball without wincing, then I'm just betting against him.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with your look. I'm not sure what to make of the Saints, and they're at home, and I want to watch. Kevin Garrett says Packers are down the Lions 14-0 early, 14-3. I completely understand your look, and I know that there's no call on Devontae Adams, but from everything I've been reading, he's going to be in the lineup and probably look good. And it was just precautionary that he was not out, and they didn't practice him, which is the reason why he's so questionable. But that's because they want him to be sound. They didn't want him to get hurt in practice. So, Dutch Boy Fresh loving that 3.5. What do you think about this total? This total opened at 51s, now 52 or 52.5.
If anything, I like the under here, just because we've seen, outside of Kamara, we've seen the Saints offense struggle. But to me, it's just there's nothing overly appealing on this. I think it's set right around where it's going to land. These guys are professionals for a reason. It doesn't excite me. Therefore, I'm sticking with the spread and the Pack, and I'm not terribly interested in this point total.
Alrighty, Bebsy got that hook. Dutch Boy Fresh talking about that half point, how important it is. Very, very important. All right, final game on the card. Bebsy, while we're doing this final play on the card, I guess this is going to be your best bet, but we're going to do best bets very quickly. Let's talk about this Monday nighter. Chiefs, Ravens, just a spectacular opportunity for us to watch great football. Jackson, 21-3 as a starter during the regular season. I can't wait to watch them line up against the Chiefs. Chiefs coming off an ugly week, but still got the W. Ravens have been in complete control so far this year. We have this Chiefs team that's dealing with injuries: Travarius Ward, Alex Okafor, Antonio Hamilton. Then on the other side of the ball, Watkins and Darrell Williams. We also have the best kickers in the league.
Yeah,
we can
Butker
talk
versus Tucker. I like it.
It's nice, and then that longest kick prop. We'll have to take a close look at the wind Monday night, but that might be in action here. Mahomes, what can you say about him? 6 straight games when trailing by double digits, he's won. He just looks so strong. This is going to be a treat for every sports fan. And let's see what we are dealing with exactly from the spread and total side of things. We jumped on the over at 50. You got it at 53. I got it at 53.5. It's now up to 55, 54.5 at some books. The Ravens opened up at -3. They've taken the hook. They're now -3.5. What do you think of a side here? I know we're already on the over.
To be honest with you, I lean towards Kansas City in this game. I just think the champs are going to step up against. Look, it's 1A and 1B right now as far as these two teams go. But the thing is I don't have any interest in it. I know that this over is going to hit, and I don't need to add the stress to the game trying to pick it, like who's going to win. I just want to watch the light show. I don't know. I just love that this over is going to be an easy hit, and I like the Chiefs' weapons versus the Baltimore weapons, even though they're both great. It really comes down to who shows up. Like, they're both so evenly matched teams. They're both great quarterbacks. They now both have, like, I would say Baltimore has the slight edge in the running game. I would say the Chiefs have a slight edge in the passing game. And then I would say that on defense, they're pretty evenly matched. Like, this is just two very balanced, phenomenal football teams with the two brightest young stars in the NFL. Yeah, I think this could be an overtime field goal, in which case, again, that only supports taking the Chiefs. But I'm off it. I'm not interested in that play. I think there's going to be 80-plus points scored in this game. It reminds me of the Rams-Chief Monday Nighter from a couple of years ago. I don't think they're going to get 105 points. That's just ludicrous, but I don't think they're that far.
I can't wait to watch it. I do think that Joe Jurgovich has a good call here on the long drives in the first half. The points could come in a flurry late, especially if one team's down. But I like our spot here, 53.5. And I like Dennis Garcia. He locked in early in the week. He's on Chiefs plus 3.5, and he got that total at the 53 number.
Look, if this total went up to 60, I would still comfortably take the over. That's how confident I am this is going to be a massively high-scoring game.
Well, if you want, you could cheat that total up.
You know I don't want to, Jimmy. Why are you bringing that up? Make me look like a coward even more. You know I just want to sit and take the safe play.
You don't get a huge number at the 60. You get plus 155 over 60.
Yeah, I don't need it. I'll take my safe play. I like that.
Well, you are 8-2. You are 8-2 on the year, so your cautious moves have succeeded. Okay, before this started, so you only added one play, I believe, the Bills -1.
I added one play, and then I flip-flopped on the Cowboys Seattle over, and then
we got to make moves. I got to get some bets in here. We have Bebeneck on Titans -1.5, Steelers -3.5. Jets, Colts under 44, Cardinals -5.5, Packers plus 3.5, KC, Baltimore over 53, and you added the Bills -1. Is that Chiefs, Baltimore over your best play on the board?
Yeah, I love it. I firmly believe we're going to see a high-scoring affair.
Then for me, I have Titans -2.5, Jets, Colts under 43.5, KC, Baltimore over 53.5. That was on Tuesday. On Friday, I added Raiders, Patriots under 47.5, Giants, Niners over 41.5, and Eagles first half -3. And this may be a terrible decision, but I'm adding the over in the – wow, it's being bet down to 46 now. Maybe I shouldn't. Okay, all the late money's coming into the under. Okay, I'm not going to add it. All right, let's get that off the board. Okay, that was close. What are my additions? I added the Bills with Bebsy -1. I added the under 49.5 in the Titans game. Tell me that's still there. Damn, it's down a half point. Shit, I got to bet it fast. I guess it's like 20 minutes before kickoff. I added the Raiders +7 And I didn't jump on the Steelers Texans with you. I added the Jets team total under 14.5. And I will say this, that the Chiefs team total under 14.5 is my best bet on the board. Chiefs team total under 14.5. Not having a 13.5 to deal with is real nice. So I would say that, Dean G, what would be the strongest bet out there right now? Well, that's a very interesting question. For me, I would say the team total under 14.5 on the Jets. What would you say is the best bet out there right now, Bebsy?
I mean, obviously for me, I love that over so much on the Monday night.
So even at 55.5.
Yeah, I think I still take that. I'm also really high on Tennessee, to be honest with you. I got in at 1.5. I don't know if it's still sitting there, but I just like how they're going to play. But yeah, for me the best bet is still that Monday night over.
All right, we have football 19 minutes away from kickoff. We need a giant week 3. Bebsy coming in 8-2. I'm coming in 7-8. Very, very, very enjoyable. This is going to be. I can't wait for today. Thank you for all your hard work, Bebsy. I got to go make some bets. Jordy Nordman, much love to you. All you guys who rolled with us, JT, Joe Yurkovich, Dean G, back in action, Barham Dog, Jenkins, J Peach, Coco Bongo, Xavier Oliver, Mark, Uncafer, Robert Allen, Dutch Boy, Fresh, Big Drew, Dennis Garcia. Do you have any last words for these great cappers?
Nothing but love, guys. Let's get out there and make some money, have some fun today. And Brady is not the GOAT. Much love, guys.
Brady is not the GOAT. Much love. That's how we close shop here. Very, very exciting. All right. Let's have a big, big, big day today. Bebsy, thank you for your hard work. And let's get paid in full. I got to go make some bets. Hey, those bookmakers! Let's go.